Get ready for the latest scoop on the Sheikh Hamdan saga. We're diving headfirst into the juicy drama, romance, and power struggles that are making waves in the royal family. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you can stay up to date on all the latest tea. And if you're just tuning in, be sure to check out our previous video to get the full story on what's been going down. We're about to spill all the latest deets on the complicated web of relationships between Sheikh Hamdan, Sheikha Thani, and Shama. From secret meetings to explosive confrontations, we've got the inside scoop on what's really going on behind palace doors. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's get into the drama. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like and comment below. We want to hear your thoughts on the latest developments in the royal family. Let's keep the conversation going. In our previous installment, we witnessed a seismic shift in the royal family's dynamics, a moment that would forever alter the course of their history. Sheikha Thani, once a paragon of quiet strength and patience, had finally awakened to the realization of her own significance. She had come to understand that her role extended far beyond that of a mere royal wife. She was, in fact, the linchpin that held the family's legacy together. The royal bloodline's very continuity depended on her, and the prospect of divorce was no longer just a personal threat, but a danger to the family's most treasured asset, its heritage. As we delve deeper into the story, it becomes clear that Sheikha Thani's newfound awareness has set her on a path of self-discovery and empowerment. No longer content to simply occupy the shadows, she has begun to assert her influence, leveraging her unique position to shape the family's destiny. The question now is, how will this shift in power dynamics affect the relationships within the royal family, and what will be the ultimate cost of Sheikha Thani's awakening? With calculated precision, Sheikha Thani had come to understand the immense value she brought to the royal family. She knew that Sheikh Mohammed would never permit Hamdan to divorce her, not out of sentiment, but because of the crucial role she played in maintaining the family's unity, preserving its lineage, and ensuring its political stability. Rather than cowering in fear, Thani chose to harness this knowledge to her advantage, using it as a powerful tool to redefine her position within the family. After a strategic period of deliberation, Thani deemed the time ripe to engage Hamdan in a private audience. But unlike previous encounters, this meeting would be markedly different. Gone was the distraught wife, replaced by a poised and astute individual, armed with a newfound sense of purpose and conviction. With clarity and precision, Thani would articulate her demands, her words imbued with an authority that would leave Hamdan in no doubt as to her resolve. The dynamics of their relationship were about to undergo a profound shift, one that would have far-reaching consequences for the entire royal family. Hamdan's eyes widened in shock as he struggled to comprehend the gravity of Thani's words. Divorce? It was unthinkable. She was more than just his wife, she was his cousin, a vital link to the family's heritage, and a symbol of the royal legacy. The very idea of her walking away was a prospect too dire to contemplate. He sat in stunned silence, his mind racing with the potential consequences. The tension this would unleash, the scandal that might erupt, the repercussions that would ripple through the family and beyond. It was a Pandora's box he dare not open. As he pondered the implications, Hamdan's thoughts turned to the delicate balance of power within the family. He knew that Thani's departure would create a void that could never be filled, a breach in the family's unity that would have far-reaching consequences. The weight of his responsibilities, the burden of his heritage, and the expectations of his family all bore down upon him, making the prospect of divorce an unpalatable reality. Finally, he broke the silence, his words carefully chosen to convey the depth of his emotions and the complexity of his predicament. Hamdan's mind was a maelstrom of conflicting emotions as he grappled with the weight of his predicament. Meanwhile, Thani retreated to her chambers, her head held high, her dignity intact. But for Hamdan, the real turmoil was only just beginning to unfold. He knew that divorcing Thani was out of the question, and he was acutely aware that his father's priorities might now shift to maintaining family harmony, potentially at the expense of his relationship with Shama. The stakes were high, and the complexity of the situation was exacerbated by Shama's unique position. As a member of the Al-Falsi family, she brought a certain level of prestige and influence to the table. Moreover, she had already received Sheikh Mohammed's blessing, which had seemed like a seal of approval for their relationship. However, with Thani's ultimatum hanging in the balance, the dynamics had shifted dramatically. Hamdan couldn't help but wonder if his father's priorities would ultimately lie with maintaining peace within the family or if his relationship with Shama would be sacrificed for the greater good. As the tension mounted, Hamdan found himself torn between his loyalty to Thani, his love for Shama, and his duty to his family. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, and he knew that every decision he made would have far-reaching consequences. The question now was, would he find a way to reconcile his desires with the demands of his family, or would the conflict tear them all apart? Hamdan's anxiety was palpable as he feared that his father's stance on his marriage to Shama might shift in light of Thani's ultimatum. Just as he thought the situation couldn't become more entangled, a shrill ringtone pierced the air, shattering the fragile calm he'd managed to maintain. The caller ID revealed a name that sent a shiver down his spine: Hadia Zen, his ex-wife. She'd gotten wind of his plans to wed Shama, and her reaction was predictably explosive. Hadia's anger and hurt simmered through the phone line, her words a potent mix of venom and sorrow. But she wasn't finished yet. In a moment of raw emotion, she tracked down Shama's number and made a call that would change the course of events forever. Shama answered, unaware of the storm that was about to engulf her. As the two women connected, the air was charged with tension, their conversation a delicate dance of words, each one laced with underlying meaning and unspoken agendas. The phone call marked the beginning of a new chapter in the saga, one that would see alliances tested, emotions raw, and the very fabric of relationships stretched to the breaking point. As Shama listened to Hadia's words, she couldn't help but wonder what lay ahead, and whether she was prepared to face the challenges that came with being part of this complex, dysfunctional family. Shama's composure was unwavering as she listened to Hadia's tirade, her words a toxic mix of anger, and, with a calm demeanor, she allowed Hadia to vent her frustrations, absorbing every accusation and insult without flinching. Once Hadia's emotional storm had subsided, Shama swiftly dialed Hamdan's number, her voice steady as she recounted every detail of the conversation. Hamdan, still reeling from his own explosive conversation with Hadia, shared his own account of their exchange. As they compared notes, a disturbing pattern emerged. Hadia's actions were not merely driven by hurt and anger but by a calculated attempt to sabotage their relationship. The depth of her bitterness and the lengths she was willing to go to exact revenge became starkly apparent. Yet, rather than allowing Hadia's interference to drive a wedge between them, Shama and Hamdan chose a different path. They decided to confront the challenge head-on, their bond strengthened by their shared determination to overcome the obstacles in their way. In a moment of clarity, they came to a mutual understanding, their resolve fortified by their commitment to each other. United, they steeled themselves for the battles ahead, ready to face whatever challenges Hadia's machinations might bring. Sheikh Hamdan's kind-hearted nature is a trait that has earned him immense respect and admiration from those around him. His wives, in particular, have had the privilege of experiencing his compassionate and gentle side. They know that beneath his royal demeanor lies a heart of gold, always willing to lend a listening ear and offer support when needed. One of the most endearing qualities about Sheikh Hamdan is his ability to empathize with others. He takes the time to understand different perspectives and is known for his thoughtful and considerate approach to problem solving. This empathetic nature has helped him build strong relationships with his family members and those in his inner circle. Meanwhile, Sheikh Hamdan was blissfully unaware of the drama that had unfolded. He was on a private island in the UAE, basking in the serenity of nature and enjoying a well-deserved break. His social media updates painted a picture of tranquility, with photos of crystal-clear waters, powdery white sand, and a sense of freedom that was palpable. Shama decided to spare him the details of her meeting with Sheikh Thani, choosing instead to wait until he returned to the palace. She didn't want to disrupt his peace and tranquility, and she knew that the conversation would be better had in person. Despite being part of a royal family, Sheikh Hamdan's kindness is not limited to those close to him. He is widely regarded as a benevolent figure, always looking for ways to make a positive impact on the lives of those around him. His charitable endeavors and support for various causes have made a significant difference. Their love was unshakable, a fortress built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Shama and Hamdan were determined to shield their relationship from the toxic opinions of others, refusing to let external forces dictate the course of their love. They knew each other's strengths and weaknesses, and their bond was strengthened by the trials they had faced together. As Hamdan attended to his royal duties, he met with his father, Sheikh Mohammed, at the palace. Their discussion began with matters of state, but soon, the conversation turned to more personal matters. Hamdan shared with his father the ultimatum Thani had issued, her threat to divorce him if he didn't prioritize their relationship. Sheikh Mohammed's expression changed from one of calm deliberation to shock and surprise. He hadn't seen this coming, and the implications were far-reaching. The weight of Thani's words hung in the air, and Sheikh Mohammed's response was measured. He knew that Thani's threat was not an idle one, and the potential consequences of divorce would be catastrophic for the family. He began to ponder the intricacies of the situation, weighing his options carefully. How would he navigate this complex web of relationships and obligations? The fate of the royal family hung in the balance, and every decision he made would have a lasting impact. With a sense of resolve, Sheikh Mohammed picked up the phone and dialed Thani's number. As soon as she answered, her emotions spilled over, and she began to cry. However, Sheikh Mohammed's tone remained firm, unswayed by her tears. Meanwhile, Hamdan had reached his emotional limit, exhausted from the turmoil that had been building up. Seeking solace, he made his way to the second palace, where his children and Shama were waiting. In the warmth of their company, Hamdan found a sense of comfort. Together, they watched a film, their laughter and moments of silence weaving a sense of normalcy into the chaos. Simply being present with each other helped to ground them, providing a fleeting sense of peace. For a brief moment, the weight of their responsibilities and the pressures of royal life receded, and they felt a sense of tranquility. However, in the world of the royal family, peace is a luxury that is rarely afforded, and the calm was short-lived. As the evening drew to a close, Hamdan and Shama knew that the challenges ahead would require all their strength and resilience. The temporary reprieve they had found in each other's company would soon be tested by the demands of royal duty and the intricate web of relationships that bound them all. The question was, how would they navigate the complex landscape of family obligations, personal desires, and public expectations that lay before them? The tension in the main palace was palpable as Thani seethed with anger and humiliation after her conversation with Sheikh Mohammed. Her determination to thwart the marriage between Hamdan and Shama had reached a fever pitch. With a calculating mind, she began to secretly orchestrate a campaign to undermine their relationship, reaching out to key family members and sowing seeds of doubt. The drama was far from over, and the stakes were higher than ever. As the curtain draws to a close on this chapter, the question on everyone's mind is, what lies ahead for the star-crossed lovers, Hamdan and Shama? Will they be able to weather the storm brewing around them, or will Thani's machinations tear them apart? And what about Hadia's next move? Will she continue to play the role of saboteur, or will she find a way to move on? The drama is set to intensify in our next video, where we'll dive deeper into the intricate web of relationships and power struggles within the royal family. Don't miss the next installment of this gripping saga, where alliances will be tested and loyalties will be pushed to the limit. If you're hooked on the royal drama, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all the latest developments. We can't wait